In a game of would you rather get solid results or hang out with your bestie? Get in, losers, we're going lifting. Personally, for me, if my focus is I want to get that strong body, I want definition, I want to do everything as quickly as I possibly can, knowing that quick is still going to take a bunch of time, I'm going to pick the results, do the thing that's going to get the results. Whereas I find sometimes people who come into the strength training world, they would rather just hang out with their bestie. And I don't mean like actually hanging out on the couch with their bestie, but like they want to go to the group fitness class where the workout is constantly changing. They're there more so for the music than going up in their squat weight. They're there to hear, fun stories from the instructor about what happened earlier in their day. And I don't think there's anything wrong if that's what you want, but understand that if you want solid results, you have to do the work. It's not about the music that's playing. It's not about the funny stories. It's not about, bestie vibes. It's about what do I do to build strength? What do I do to build muscle? What do I do to get results? The music's not going to make or break the results. The funny story is not going to make or break the results. And I've had to have this conversation multiple times over the last 10 years with people where they're just like, but I want to have more fun. And it's like, well, how do you define fun? And what matters more to you, getting the results or having fun? And that's the thing, a lot of people say, I want a six pack. I want to look super, hot and toned. But if you're not willing to do what it takes because you need to have, more fun in those moments, then you can't be surprised that your results are what they currently are instead of what other people are willing to do in order to get the desired outcome. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Again, this is not to throw any shade on the people who want more entertainment versus steady progress. And can you do both? Absolutely, you can. But I think it really just kind of comes down to how it's set up and how you define a level of fun. My private clients report to me that they do have a lot of fun. When I'm working with clients in swing to snatch, it is so much less about what's going on between us. Like I'm very much positioned as the guide, the coach. It's less about, how are you doing? Ha ha ha, like fun and games, because we're there to learn. We have a job. We have desired outcomes that need to happen and take place. This is so much less about, fun and more about getting what you paid for. And I think it kind of just like depends on where you're at and again, how you define it. I think making progress is fun. I think connecting to your fierce is fun. I think celebrating wins and becoming more aware of your body and seeing what you can do is super fun. And I think for other people, they just define it in a different way. And if that's you, that's cool. But understand that in order to build that strong, defined body, it's not so much about, matcha and giggling and, talking reality TV. Not to say that stuff can't somehow be sprinkled in, but understand, if you are in a particular environment and there is a specific goal, you got to go for the goal, even if you don't have, the bells and whistles that feel like extra fun along the way. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? At the end of the day, just understand that if you are trying to get strong and defined, there are certain things that have to take place. I have this conversation a fair amount with people who come from the group fitness world, and I understand why making that transition can feel really challenging because I used to teach group fitness classes and the music's super high energy. It's fun. We play with the lights. It is a vibe. And then the workouts, they're constantly changing. You get, lit up by doing this exercise in one class and then this one in another. And it's just, constantly changing. And I think for people in that world, it's almost like you expect that when you go into the strength training world, but that's not how you build muscle. That's not how you build strength. It is not about random. It is about having, a number of workouts. Typically, if you're training 3 days a week, it's, 3 workouts. If you're training up to 5 days a week, maybe it's 5 workouts, and you are repeating them for a chunk of time. I find sometimes there is reason for a program to be as short as 8 weeks, but most of the time you are going to be training for like 12, if not 16 weeks on the same program before moving on. And for people who are so used to it being random, it being fresh, it being, exciting to see what the new thing is going to be, when you make that switch, it can be hard. It can feel, I want to use a word that somebody used with me recently. They said the word monotonous. And I get how it might feel that way, just, so much repetition of the same stuff. But that's what it takes if you're trying to make progress relatively quicker. It's this chronic repetition so that the body is able to adapt to whatever the goal is. So if you're not willing to do that, just understand that the results, they may come slower or they may not come at all. I talked about group fitness in season 2. It was the first episode. And I just want to make it really clear. I love group fitness. I absolutely think group fitness has a place in the fitness world. But where group fitness falls short is being on that progressive training program. So when you are ready to get out of just being focused on consistency, being excited to show up for the workout, being, in community, and you are ready to be like, okay, it's time to level up because that's what you want. You want to be more focused on results. You want to be more focused on building muscle, on building strength. Then we do need to get out of that group fitness mindset, and we do need to come into the place of now's the time to focus in on those more specific goals that I just couldn't obtain in that other environment. When you're ready to level up in this way, it's not a matter of, is this fun or not? It's a matter of, do I want these results? And am I willing to be disciplined enough to have these results? Some people, they're down to do it, and other people, they're not. And that's okay. Just understand that when the goal becomes more specific and you want to see quicker results, it is going to take a more specific approach. And for some people, that might feel really fun and exciting because you're ready to go to the next level. And for some people, that might feel like, I'm actually going to stay in this comfort zone instead. So if you are ready to do the boring stuff, the monotonous stuff, the stuff where there is just repetition upon repetition because you want to see more muscle, you want to build more strength, you are ready to be more specific so you can get those results that you have been dreaming of, Rebel Bells is now open for you. This is a program I offer for all levels, and it's super friendly for beginners, where you can train with me up to 3 times a week live in the Zoom room, or you can catch the recordings all for $150 per month. This is really the best place if you are that group fitness girly and you're trying to turn into a kettlebell queen and it's like kind of scary. You're not sure if you're ready. This is a really nice place to see, are you actually ready for more? And maybe right now is not the time, and that's okay. But if you're ready to rise, I can't wait to meet you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. Thanks for listening to this episode. Make sure you give us a follow so you never miss an episode.